Good morning.
Good morning.
Great way to start, yes? So, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Westside Congregation in Rio Rancho. I'm the Reverend Dr. Nancy Hitt. Our speaker today is Dana Sanford. We are glad to see you here in our sanctuary, and we also welcome those of you who will be joining us later online. Our program today is titled, God is Alive, Magic is Afoot. It is taken from a piece written by Leonard Cohen. Dana will be sharing his insights from that piece with us later. Today is also Labor Day Sunday. Reverend Judy Deutsch will be addressing that with us later too. Our program today is based on source number 1, direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces which create and uphold life. We hope you find yourself refreshed and renewed by our time together here today. Today we thank Steve Poyani, our videographer, Carol Eaglehart, our song leader, Graham and Roxy Casthecht, our greeters, and all those who worked to put this service together. Here are the announcements for this week. We are looking for someone to turn our watering system on and off on Tuesdays in order to balance the schedule for our dehydrated vegetation. So if you are able to do that at the time of your choice, it doesn't matter whether it's morning, high noon, or evening, but it should be Tuesday in order to balance out the other already in place waterings. If you're able to do that, please let me know. Secondly, this is for love of our pets. Rio Rancho Westside Unitarian Universalist Congregation, at our address, is offering a pet blessing and memorial service on October 2nd, which is a Saturday, at 11 a.m. Everyone is welcome. Now, for the blessing, you may either bring your pet or bring a photograph of said pet or pets. For the memorial service, have a photograph or photos of past pets. 2 tables will be set up, one for the blessing photos and one for the memorial. We will hold the service outdoors as long as weather permits. Otherwise, we will be in our social hall. Please, this is really important, dogs on leashes and cats or any other small critter in carriers for their safety. 2 raffles will also be held with 2 amazing prizes. Snacks will also be on hand for both pets and people. So go home and mark your calendar if you are a pet owner, past or present, for October 2nd at 11 a.m. Now, next, our upcoming program on anti-racism begins next Saturday, which is the 11th of September, at 10:30 a.m. here in the social hall. It is titled Aware UUWC, which stands for the Alliance of White Anti-Racists Everywhere. We will be meeting every other week for 6 sessions. Now, this is a drop-in style group. You may attend whichever sessions you choose or not. Our first session is titled, Why a White Group? What is Race? There will be a short period of instruction followed by a good opportunity for discussion. The program is co-led by Jay Kane, Reverend Judy, Dee Curry, and myself. You will receive links in this week's newsletter that offer some background information for those of you who appreciate it. This is probably the only time in my life I'm going to be saying it's not necessary for you to read the material you can access through the links, but a number of you have asked about background information, and so we will be providing it. It's up to you what you do with them. This is a very timely and sensitive issue for our world. We hope that you will take advantage of the opportunity to explore your own thoughts and experiences pertaining to racism. And yes, there will be snacks. Does anybody have anything else that they need to bring to our attention? All right then, thank you. I invite you now to please stand as you are able here in the sanctuary and join me in our chalice lighting as it is found either in your bulletin or, if you are at home, on your screen. Our chalice flame draws us into community, assuring us that the power of light and love surround and inspire us. May we open our hearts to its leading. Shalom and amen. Please join me now as we affirm our aspirations. Life is a gift. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and the mysteries of this great gift. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another. Shalom. Please remain standing and open your hymnal to number 346 as Carol leads us in singing, "Come Sing a Song with Me."
There's a verse about walking in the rain. Did you all enjoy the rain this week?
Yes.
All right. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. You may be seated.
I invite you now to join me in a moment for centering, to sit back in your seat wherever you are, relaxed yet upright. Center your head over your heart, over your pelvis. Uncross your ankles, your knees, your wrists. Close your eyes if you are comfortable doing so, or choose a focal point for your gaze. Focus your attention on your breathing, letting your mind go blank. Breathe deeply, fully, in and out. Inhaling and renewing your energy. Exhaling tension and distraction. Simply breathe. As you relax into the center of yourself, let your mind's eye envision a gleaming point of light, just a dot that slowly and steadily grows brighter and bigger. Let the light increase until it has enveloped you. Notice that you are glowing within this sphere of light. You are at ease. You are at peace. You know yourself to be loved. Scan your mental horizons. Notice that there is no place without the brilliance of the light. Let it swirl and dance around and through you, equipping you with all that you need. As it encircles you, draw it into yourself. Let the light flow easily within you. Gather your energy up and begin to return your focus to the here and now. Let your attention return to your breathing, breathing fully and deeply, in and out, and in and out. And when you are ready, open your eyes, relaxed and ready for the magic of today. Shalom. As always, we take time to connect with one another and share our joys and concerns when we gather. Our joys expand in celebration. Our concerns are supported in community. We will light a candle for each one, beginning with those in our basket, and then moving on to those of you who would like the mic. If you are participating at home, we invite you to light your personal candle there as we light our final candle here. Dana, could you get the basket? Yes. Thank you. Oh, okay then. We are either so filled with joy and have no concerns, or so overwhelmed by concerns that we can't name joys, or we all just want the mic. Tom would like the mic in the back.
About 20 years ago,
Yeah.
20 years ago, I was helping start a charter school in California. On 9/11, we didn't even have a security plan. I was working with the first through third graders. And a couple of kids had some inkling what happened, but most of them didn't. They were dropped off too early. So I said to the older kids, if you have anything to say, you want to share it, talk to me. But at the end of the day, so we went on with the regular day. It was tough, not knowing what was going on. A father who was a parent as a pilot arrived, stood there and said, this is really strange. I was supposed to be flying today. There's no planes in the sky. Late in the afternoon, just before we dismissed the students, I said to them, something terrible has happened today. I want you to go home, hug your parents, and know that you're safe and you're okay. But I want you to think of the time when you maybe been at the beach and you built a wonderful sandcastle and you were admired by lots of people, your sandcastle, and then somebody came along and knocked it over. Just remember that people helped you build that sandcastle back up. We also composed a letter and said to the parents, sent them home and said, please don't watch anything about the media, certainly with your children. Go down to the beach, play and hug with them. And that's how we got through that day. If anybody would like to talk to me about 9/11 memories, I'd be happy to after the meeting. This is going to be a tough week for a lot of us.
Donna and Carol.
So tomorrow, I have a joy. My husband and I will be celebrating our 41st wedding anniversary. And this time we get to go camping and celebrate it properly. Last year we didn't get to celebrate at all. Then I also have a deep concern. Tomorrow is also World Goddess Day. And we need more than ever to unite and commit to dismantling the patriarchy because they have way too much power and they are doing so much harm. And you all know what I'm talking about.
I'm more concerned than ever about the fragility of our democracy as Texas calls on citizens to turn against citizens. And this is so reminiscent of Nazi Germany that it is sickening.
Judy had her hand up.
Well, unfortunately, I agree with Janet. It's terrible. But to go back to 9/11, I was on the Yangtze River when I learned about it. And my one Manhattan relative was one of my favorite relatives. And I called him, and he was okay. And I was glad about that, although I wasn't glad about the bombing. And people on the boat, on the ship actually, were so kind and conciliatory. They were from all over the world. And I forget if there were 6 or 10 of us from the United States. They couldn't have been, the other people couldn't have been kinder to us. And I do remember that.
have a joy and a concern. My joy is this time next week I will be in Hawaii. The concern is that I'll be there because Nan Porterfield, who many of you know, is having a partial knee replacement. So I'm going to be the walker of the dog and the bringer of chicken soup. So please keep her in mind. I'll be gone for a month.
I have a joy. It's this congregation, it's other people who have been helping me in my moving, sale, whatever of the house. There's been so many good things come to me. It's not over yet, but I just want to say thank you.
Is there anything else here? Then we will light one final candle for all that we still hold in our own hearts and minds. Can you do that again? Chalice. We light this red candle in honor of the victims of racial violence. We commit to increasing our own awareness of oppression and injury and acting to heal this wound in our world. Shalom and amen. And now we invite Graham Cast-Hecht to share our animal ministry moment with us.
This is a little puppy sitting in his food dish. He says, know that you can handle whatever gets dished out. Sometimes you'll feel lost and overwhelmed. Don't worry, it's all part of your growth experience. There will be many obstacles you can't get around. You just have to go through them. This other little dog says he has a special word. There's a special word we dogs have to express our great pleasure. Upon seeing our favorite person, it's bark. But be careful, for bark also means 742,000 other things. So it's all really about the context.
Look for the union label when you are buying a coat, dress, or blouse. Remember somewhere our union's so weak, our wages going to feed the kids and run the house. We work hard, but who's complaining? Thanks to the ILG, we're paying our way. So always look for the union label. It says we're able to make it in the USA.
Last year at this time, I preached on giving labor its due. Today, I want to say some words about protecting the right to organize, commonly called PRO, a bill that, if enacted and if implemented, will help to give labor its due. But first, I think that many of you will remember that earlier this year, the employees of a Bessemer Alabama branch of Amazon lost a vote for unionization. Amazon helped to make that vote a failure by doing things including holding captive audience meetings which workers were forced to attend during working hours and at which workers were presented with PowerPoint presentations against joining a union. They sent text with messages and flyers urging workers not to vote for the union. They posted "Vote No" signs in bathrooms. And they stationed a drop box for the deposit of ballots near administration surveillance cameras, thus, according to CBS, giving the appearance that Amazon, not the National Labor Relations Board, the NLRB, was running the election, and thereby they interfered with the conditions under which it is necessary to conduct such an election. A hearing officer for the NLRB determined on August 2nd that Amazon violated federal labor laws by encouraging employees to vote against unionizing. If the regional director agrees, the NLRB will issue an order tossing out the results of the original election and calling for a new one. Now, that's what happened and what might happen. And if passage and implementation of the Protecting the Rights to Organize bill is passed, it would protect workers' basic rights to join a union, would make it clear that actions such as Amazon's were illegal. It's not clear now, it's muddy. And it would introduce enforceable penalties for companies and executives who violate workers' rights and strengthen workers' access to fair union elections and require corporations to respect the results. Currently, under the National Labor Relations Act, there are no monetary penalties for companies that violate workers' rights, and no assurance that workers have timely access to justice. The PRO Act authorizes significant penalties for companies and executives for violating workers' rights, streamlines access to justice for workers who suffer retaliation for exercising their rights, gives workers the power to override so-called right-to-work laws that prevent unions from collecting dues from the workers they represent, but who don't join the union. Enhance workers' rights to support boycotts, strikes, and other forms of solidarity. Closes loopholes in labor law that erode workers' rights. Clarifies that employers may not force employees to waive their right to engage in collective or class action litigation, and prevents employers from interfering in union elections. Now, if you would like to see these just mentioned provisions enacted into law, please tell Senators Heinrich and Lujan and your representative that you want them to see that the Protecting the Right to Organize Act, H.R. 842, is passed and implemented, and why. If you don't know who your representative is, I have left a copy of the League of Women Voters Who's Who, a political directory, on the small table containing literature in the social hall for you to use. Feel free to consult it, but please leave it there after you have done so. Thank you. Thank you.
I got it.
I can get it. I just can't get down the steps. Thank you.
You are welcome, miss. Come on back.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you. You're welcome.
It is a fact that we are all here of our own free choice. As a voluntary organization, our strength and wholeness depends on the contributions and participation of all of us. Everyone is wanted, everyone is needed. Thank you for the gift of your presence and your participation in our West Side community. I'm going to go down and pick up the offering basket, and then we will sing together from You I Receive.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
Now I would like to introduce the piece that you will hear next, which is actually music. The reading that Dana has been drawing on for his sermon is put to music. So I'm inviting you to please listen closely. I think it's pretty easy to discern the words. And hopefully this will be a really enjoyable way of taking this passage in. It is titled, God is Alive, Magic is Afoot. Leonard Cohen is the author of the lyrics. The musician is Chris Thiele.
Magic is alive, alive is afoot. Magic never died, God never sickened. Many poor men lied, many sick men lied. Magic never weakened, magic never hid. Magic always ruled, God is afoot. God never died. God was ruling, though his funeral lengthened, though his mourners thickened. Magic never fled, though his shrouds were hoisted, the naked God did live. Though his words were twisted, the naked magic thrived. Though his death was published round and round the world, the heart did not believe. Many hurt men wondered, many struck men bled. Magic never faltered, magic always led. Many stones were rolled, but God would not lie down. Many wild men lied, many fat men listened. Though they offered stones, magic still was fed. Though they lacked their coffers, God was always served. Magic is afoot, God rules. Life is afoot, life is in command. Many weak men hungered, many strong men thrived. Though they boasted solitude, God was at their side. Nor the dreamer in his cell, nor the captain on the hill. Magic is alive, though his death was pardoned. Round and round the world, I would not believe. Shelter men, though altars built in parliaments, they could not order men. Beneath the rest of magic, and magic went with them. For magic, those the hungry. But magic would not tarry, it moves from arm to arm, it would not stay with them. Magic is afoot, it cannot come to harm. It rests in an empty palm, it spawns in an empty mind. But magic is no instrument, magic is the end. Many men drove magic, but magic stayed behind. Many strong men lied, they only passed through magic, and not the other side. Many weak men lied, they came to God in secret, and though they left unnourished, they would not tell who healed all mountains stands before them. They said that God was dead, those child were hoisted, and then God did live. This I mean to whisper in my mind, this I mean black within my mind, this I mean my mind is fertile, surface is but magic, moving through the world, and the mind itself is magic, coursing through the flesh, and the flesh itself is magic, dancing on a clock, and time itself, the magic length of God.
God is alive, magic is afoot was written by Leonard Cohen in a novel called The Beautiful Losers. Beautiful Losers was written before Leonard Cohen was a folk singer, a singer of any sort. And it is, now, I'll begin with the introduction. To Beautiful Losers, the poem appears as a letter written by a man in a mental institution. wasn't written really as a poem. The introduction to his to the book when it was originally published was that Beautiful Losers, Leonard Cohen's legendary novel, was described by the New York Times when it was first published as a gorgeously written, anguished, overwhelming prose poem. In the middle of the novel comes a short section beginning with the words, "God is alive, magic is afoot." The 400 or so words that follow are arguably some of the finest Cohen ever wrote. In them, he has created an inspirational mantra which explores the real meaning of magic and God. Now, the novel was written, as I said before, Cohen was a singer. He actually was having trouble getting people to read his stuff, so he became a folk singer. He wrote the novel on the Greek island of Hydra in 1964-65 and was published in 1966. He didn't start his musical career until 1967. But why does this little piece of novel have such a major effect? It has been picked up, used in a variety of religious circumstances. What does it describe about the mystical realm that sometimes is visible alongside our real world? What is this God magic that is being spoken of? What? Why is a deity or supernatural presence sensed at times? Sorry, I'm reading this off my phone and have trouble keeping up with where I'm at. Somehow, not used to this. Okay. This God is not the one that belongs only in churches or temples. This God is not one of dogmatic observance. This God visits everywhere that there is breath. This is the invisible God, the God of creation, the God who believes in life, who not exalting any being over another, for he lives in all the universe and in every atom. This is the God of community, who blooms in the sharing of existence. This is a God of action, even in the slow erosion of stone mountains or the flash of lightning bolts. Any artist will speak of this timelessness of creation. There is no time in creation, though minutes or hours may pass. Creation is flow. The violinist does not think of what they do, but the music coming from their soul. The dancer is the flight of spirit. The artist captures truth beyond the veil. Creators must learn a hard lesson of getting out of their own way. The cellist Pablo Casals once said about playing music well, learn the notes and forget about it. Alan Watts once said about Zen, it's as easy as falling off a log. But have you ever tried to fall off a log? That's where the magic happens. That's where we can allow the universe, or God, to help us. God is mysterious and often paradoxical. Einstein once said, the most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious, the fundamental emotion that stands at the cradle of true art and true science. And I believe that contradiction and paradox are a vital part of life. They invite creativity and creative solutions. We assume that our consciousness lies inside our body. This is a quote. But what if our body actually lies inside our consciousness? What if the body is actually the vessel we use for moving around inside ourselves? Because we are space and we are the universe. We are all that is. We are conscious, and this consciousness utilizes a physical body in order to obtain experience. Are we anything more than a unique living being that exists along with many other life forms on this planet, our Mother Earth? It was Camilo Loken in a book called The Shift of Consciousness. It is artful to question reality and our most basic beliefs. It is artful to interact with our friends and our loved ones, and with nature and our world. It is artful to be the creators of our personal and communal universes. God and magic have a reality. If they are only the sparking of a synapses, or the truth of existence, doesn't really matter. In either case, God is alive, magic is afoot. And I will end my short sermon here with The Red Wheelbarrow by William Carlos Williams. So much depends on a red wheelbarrow, glazed with rainwater, beside the white chickens. I think that's magic. Listen to me.
Thank you, Dana. Especially given the technological glitch that had the man reading from his phone for us. We actually do have maybe a brief moment or so if there's a response or a question that anyone wants to make to anything that we've shared together this morning. And if we're still taking it in and processing, that is absolutely fine also. All right, I will let you continue to process and invite you to let whatever bubbles up be something that we share among ourselves later. And at this point, Carol is going to lead us in hymn number 75. So those of you who are here in the sanctuary, please stand as you are able and open to The Harp at Nature's Advent. The melody, you'll be thrilled to know, is really familiar. It's the same as Amazing Grace. So number 75.
The harp at nature's advent strung has never ceased to play. The song of stars of morning sung has never died away. The prayer is made and praise is given by all things near and far. The ocean looked
join me now in the words for our chalice extinguishing? Dana, can you do the honors? Gone from sight, our flame lingers on in our hearts. We are inspired to engage with power, with light, and with love. Shalom and amen. May you know magic in all of its many forms. May you be embraced and held, nurtured and challenged to live a life of magic. May you know the divine in all their many forms. May you be embraced and held, nurtured and challenged to live a life with God. In everything, may life delight and enlarge you. Shalom and amen. And now if we would face each other without holding hands, but just face each other across the aisle, we will close with go now in peace.
Look that way.
We good? Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. And I invite you to go to the social hall and let's have some conversation.